Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. We've got some new model teasers to talk about today. This one coming from Dave Mustaine. So we just recently reviewed his latest custom shop creation, which has a beautiful flame top. I really enjoyed that more so than the USA production ones, but they weren't without their flaws. And then later on, we unboxed the other color, and even though it's not quite as fancy, it still has a pretty cool vibe to it on its own. And although they didn't really get the market riled up by any means, Dave is here again with another signature model, but this time it looks like we've got some Explorers here, so let's take them one by one. Our first one here is Ebony. Now it actually has binding around the whole thing, so that makes it kind of like an Explorer custom. However, it's looking like these might be Gibson USA. You know, production level rather than custom shop. Maybe it'll be like his other ones, there'll be a very limited custom shop thing, and then most of them are just USA Unlimited. But only time will tell as far as that goes. But if you take the time to count all the frets and or look at our side markers here, it is a 24 fret Explorer, which is not something Gibson normally does. Now, I'm personally really excited for this because I love signature Explorers. I think they're the coolest ones out there. I mean, you had the 3 Lzzy Hales, you've got the Snowhorse, you've got the Sammy Hagar, among a few other cool ones, but this one will eventually join the ranks of those. I could see myself owning one of these in my collection. And so far, I think these could captivate the market a little bit better because an Explorer custom at an even cheaper price point, I mean, that's what made the Lzzy Hale Dark Explorer very popular to many people, is it looked like an Explorer custom. But our next finish back here appears to be a gold top with a dark back. Now that's pretty snazzy. That's not quite obvious in this photo. Is it actually black or is it kind of like the darkish red amber color? But only time will tell on that. But at least we can see a little bit more as far as how these are routed. So we've got 2 humbuckers. It looks like our regular bridge and tailpiece, so we're not doing string through on this version anyways. But our last color here almost has a cool Karina vibe to it, but it's likely just a natural color. But oh, is it going to be a maple top on this? That would be fascinating. Judging by this photo, I don't think so, because that just looks like mahogany wood grain to me. But here we can see they're sticking with his signature inlays. I wish he would change him up a little bit, honestly. But it doesn't look like we're getting any headstock binding or anything like that. So I'll have to see how long it takes for these things to come out to market. Is it going to be a year? Is it going to be 2 years?
Before we continue the guitar fun, let's learn about our sponsor,
Sweetwater. And they're the best place to buy gear. I mean, you can buy Les Pauls, you can buy cables, you can buy pianos, cellos, band orchestra, anything that you need, they have it in their Fort Wayne campus and they'll ship it to you anywhere in the US. And if you're local, they also offer music lessons, among many of other cool fun activities. But if you're more into used and vintage gear, they also have their own marketplace. Now it's still kind of in prototypal stages, you can learn more in this episode, but they're slowly building their own version of like Reverb/eBay, so maybe check it out. You might find a guitar that you do want, because they've definitely changed that in the past couple of months. Oh, and don't forget to enter all their giveaways. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring tonight's episode. But either way, these are not the only 3 guitars that we need to talk about today. Look back here, we've got a very interesting Kramer. Now this has very similar inlays to like what we saw on the Dave Mustaine signature Goldburst guitar. So I'm not sure if that's one of his new signature Kramers or if it's just a new model in general. I'm not very familiar with that brand. However, we've got 24 frets, some sort of a Floyd Rose, 2 humbuckers, binding on the top. It's a pretty slick looking piece. But no, my friends. None of this even matters. This is what we need to talk about right here. These 2 guys. We can see it's some sort of a flying V shape, both of them. This one kind of turns into a 70s style flying V, so we don't want to talk about that one. But if we follow up the neck, there's no binding. We get to the headstock and oh, that's really 80s Gibson territory here. Now 2 teaser videos ago, we ran into this, Cesar holding an 80s style Explorer. Now a lot of us were really hoping that's a James Hetfield signature guitar. I mean, we even have a purple flying V over here, which could be referencing Kirk Hammett. But now that we've seen both of the iconic 80s shapes of the flying V and Explorer, you know, the alder-bodied ones originally, I think it's more so likely that we're just going to see the 80s Explorer and 80s flying V join the ranks next year. It's either that or Hetfield gets the Explorer and Kirk Hammett's getting the Flying V, but I really think we're just going to see those added to the core model, and these things are going to shake the world. Well, maybe a little bit. Now, as far as looking at the other stuff, it looks like some sort of a 335, not too much there. That looks like one of the Rex signature bases that came out not too long ago. But looking right here, again, we've already kind of seen this when we saw them toting around modern Moderns, but it's got the Super 400 inlays. It looks like some sort of a interesting Les Paul custom-like emblem, but not exactly the same. We were trying to figure out who that one might have been for. But this photo gives us a slightly clearer look at what that is. Looks like just a bunch of slashes that kind of make some sort of a pyramid shape.
Even though I love 80s Flying Vs and Explorers and cool limited edition things, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. I don't know what it is yet, but soon we will. Because at first I was thinking, okay, maybe that's the Mark Morton signature. You know, guitarist to Lamb of God, because he's been using Les Pauls a lot lately. However, I think his signature is going to look like the Slash Rosa Corsa model. And these are looking like custom shops to me based on the logos. And that's confirmed right here with his description. Name this beautiful Gibson custom Les Paul standard. I'm sure this will be a fun one to review. So that just leaves us with Darren, with System of a Down. Like, it's been rumored that he might be getting one. However, we haven't necessarily seen anything that I know of teased, but then again, I'm not following all of his work. All I know is somebody's getting a really cool signature Les Paul. Oh, and in case you didn't know, it's Greenie weekend. So if people bought those and plan to flip them, I guess we'll start seeing those show up on the market within the next couple of weeks, or you might see some stories getting posted around. Now, will I get one to review and demo? I guess you'll just have to wait and find out. But since we've got some time left today, let's check out some new Fender Japan guitars that you might not have heard of. Fender Japan's website has a few exclusives, another one in their art canvas style. So basically, a couple times throughout the year, Fender Japan will release these bare bone Telecaster style guitars. Like this particular one's an Esquire because no neck pickup, no giant pickguard on it. It just makes it a little bit more fit for what they're doing. So they either invite an artist to do a design for them, or they just do their own thing. At one time, they even just released one that was purely naked so you could put the design on it. The more and more of these they release, I increasingly like them more because it would be a really cool collection. So this time we've got a beautiful beach with a nice classic car, and we've got some giant palm trees, one of them potentially falling over. And then the back's just natural. You could do whatever you want with it or enjoy it for what it is. But the story behind this one is it's Hiroshi Nagai, who worked on many record jackets in the 80s, did up not one, but two of these new art canvas Esquires. This blue one is limited to 30 pieces, as is his second pink one. Kind of a similar theme going on, but a little bit different. It's got the same natural back, but I'd definitely say I prefer the blue. But what I really like is the fact that the paint job actually extends onto the side just a little bit. Now here's another interesting one that only people in Japan can buy. So it's precision bass that has a really cool like black and gold sparkle finish to it, but then you get to the headstock and it's reversed for some reason. That's so strange to see on a bass, but this finish is sweet. They also have another one here that's done up in a gold sparkle if that's a little bit more to your tastes. For me personally, it's all about this one. But apparently these finishes were inspired by motorcycles, specifically a vintage helmet. However, you look back here and it's like, why is that there? So then you read the description and you find out it's a signature guitar for a rock band called Luna Sea. So yeah, that's a very interesting way for them to go about this. Like I always tell you guys, there's Japan exclusive guitars that you usually can find a dealer that'll send it to you. And then there's Japan exclusive guitars where if you do not have somebody in Japan, you cannot get that guitar.
On Fender Japan's website, there is a section of guitars that they only sell within their country that you can buy from that website, or you can pick them up at Fender Japan's store within the Mikigaki America Mira shop. But looking at these photos, it kind of reminds me of like what the Gibson garage is, but they've just set up shop in this big music mega store. I'm not 100% sure on that, but neither of these shops will ship to you internationally as far as I understand. So it's not like the Silent Siren series of guitars, or the Haruna Telly, the Gino Jazz Bass, or any of the other ones that I've covered on my channel, where all the dealers within Japan have access to them, and if you're lucky, you can find one that will ship to you. This is a case of when exclusive to Japan typically means exclusive to Japan.
So to lock a signature behind the exclusive branding is the first time I've ever seen it. And as a privilege for buying directly from Fender, you get a fret guard that's signed by the artist. So if anybody's interested in a new Guitar Day / forwarding on this bass, I might be able to make it happen because I feel like that finish is worthy of documentation. And hey, it looks like they're selling a giant throw blanket too. I'm not sure if USA can get it, but that looks pretty cool. Faux tweed style. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. Do you need some more guitar fun in your life? How about you check out this old episode from 2 years ago where I found an important Gibson prototype of a budget model, except for it was built completely different than all the other ones.